Here's something no one tells you about living with chronic pain. You're conducting an experiment on human resilience every single day. You see, scientists study resilience in labs. They measure it, they theorize about it, they publish papers on what makes people unbreakable. But you're living it right now. Every decision you make to get up or to stay down, to keep fighting or let go, to stay present in your lives or check out, you're actively rewiring your brain. You're proving theories. You're demonstrating what the human spirit can actually endure. And here's the wild part. Most people will never know because your laboratory is invisible. Your data is written in pain no one else can measure. Your results don't get published. They get lived. Welcome back to Painfully Real, the podcast where we don't talk about surviving pain. We talk about transforming it. I'm glad you're here, whether you're listening in your car, lying in bed because that's all your body will allow today, or pushing through another hour at work while your pain screams beneath the surface. You belong here. Today's episode, we're going to talk about being unbreakable, the science of strength. And I want to be clear about something right from the start. Strength isn't about how much weight you can lift, how many miles you can run, or how perfectly you hold it together. Real strength, it's about how much you can endure without losing your will to rise. It's about the invisible battles you fight every single day that no one applauds, no one sees, and sometimes no one even believes. But you know, and that's what matters. Let me start with a definition. Psychologists define resilience as the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, or significant stress. It's clean, clinical, it's neat. But resilience in real life it's nothing like that. Resilience is crying in the shower at 2 a.m. and still dragging yourself out of bed at 6, canceling plans for the 10th time this month and dealing with the guilt, the frustration, the fear that people will stop inviting you altogether. It's your body screaming at you to stop, but your spirit refusing to stay silent. See, that's resilience. It's messy, it's painful, and it's completely human. You see, Dr. Viktor Frankl, he's a psychiatrist, neurologist, and a Holocaust survivor, wrote something that changed my entire perspective. He said, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Now read that again. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. This is the crossroads every person with chronic pain or invisible illness stands at. You didn't choose this. You didn't ask for it. And no amount of positive thinking is going to erase it. But here's the radical truth. You can't always control the pain, but you can absolutely control how you respond to it. You can shift your focus from what you've lost to what you're building in its place. You can choose every single day whether this experience will define you or refine you. And that's choice. That's where your power lies. Let's talk about something that doesn't get said enough: the emotional toll of invisible illness. When people look at you, they often see someone who looks fine. Maybe you've gotten good at putting on the mask. Maybe you smile through the pain because it's easier than explaining for the 100th time why you can't do what you used to do. But here's what they don't see. They don't see you lying awake at night, wondering if this is as good as it's ever going to get. They don't see the medications, the doctor appointments, the tests that come back normal, even though nothing feels normal. They don't see you grieving the person you used to be, the one who could make plans without wondering if your body would cooperate. One of the hardest parts of invisible illness is that people don't see it. And what they can't see, they often can't understand. But here's the truth I need you to hear today. Your battles may be invisible, but your strength leaves a mark on everything you touch. Every time you choose to keep going, you're not just surviving. You're literally rewiring your brain. You see, neuroscience has shown us that the brain changes through repetition. They call it neuroplasticity. Every time you choose hope over despair, courage over fear, or even just getting out of bed when your body begs you to stay down, You're strengthening the neural pathways of resilience. You are training your mind to overcome one painful moment at a time. And that's something no diagnosis, no blood test, no MRI can take away from you. Maya Angelou, who knew a thing or two about pain and perseverance, said it perfectly. I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. You are being changed. That's inevitable. But being reduced, that's optional. And you're here listening to this, which means you've already made your choice. I want to introduce you to a concept that transformed how I see my own journey. It's called post-traumatic growth. Most people have heard of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, but fewer people know about post-traumatic growth, which is just as real and just as powerful. Post-traumatic growth is the idea that after trauma and after suffering, after loss, some people don't just recover, they transform. They find deeper meaning in life. They develop stronger, more authentic relationships. They discover inner strength they didn't know they had. They gain a clearer sense of who they are and what truly matters. And here's the beautiful, painful truth. You don't have to choose between the trauma and the growth. Both can exist at the same time. You can grieve what you've lost and still celebrate what you're becoming. You can acknowledge that this is hard, devastatingly hard, and still recognize that you are stronger, wiser, and more compassionate because of it. Psychologist Richard Tedeschi, who pioneered the research on post-traumatic growth, found that people who often experience it often describe a paradox. They wouldn't wish their trauma on anyone, but they also wouldn't trade who they've become because of it. Maybe you're there. Maybe you're not yet. And, that's perfectly okay. But I want you to know transformation is possible, not despite your pain, but sometimes through it. You are living proof that the human spirit can adapt, rebuild, and rise from the ashes. And if you need a reminder today, let it be this. You have been assigned this mountain to show others it can be moved. Let's be honest about something that makes this journey so much harder. The loneliness. Not just physical loneliness. That's real too. But the deep, aching feeling of being misunderstood. When someone says, but you don't look sick. When a family member suggests you just need to stay positive or try harder or push through. When your boss questions whether you're really that bad, or a friend stops inviting you because you've canceled too many times. It gets exhausting and it becomes isolating. But here's what I've learned. You don't need everyone to understand. You just need a few people who truly see you. And more importantly, you need to see yourself clearly. You need to recognize that your worth isn't measured by your productivity, your ability to keep up, or how well you can hide your pain. Your worth is inherent. It was there before the pain. It's there during the pain. And it will be there after. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is moving from seeking validation to creating meaning. Because here's the thing. When you stop waiting for the world to understand and start owning your story, something incredible happens. It's at that point that you reclaim your power. You stop apologizing for taking up space, for needing accommodations, for having limits, and you start living authentically, even when it's uncomfortable for others. And you see that's revolutionary. Maybe your story right now feels heavy. Maybe you're exhausted from pretending to be okay. Maybe you're wondering if any of this suffering has I want to tell you something that psychology has confirmed time and time again. Meaning is one of the strongest buffers against despair. Viktor Frankl survived the Nazi concentration camps in part because he found meaning in his suffering. He chose to believe that his pain could serve a purpose, that he could use his experience to help others, to write, to teach, to heal. And he did. His book, Man's Search for Meaning, has helped millions of people find hope in their darkest moments. And your pain has meaning too. Maybe it's in the way you show up for others who are struggling, offering them the empathy no one gave you. Maybe it's in your advocacy, fighting for awareness, accessibility, better health care, or simply the right to be believed. Maybe it's in your art, your writing, your voice. And maybe it's the quiet, private way you refuse to give up. Day after day, even when no one's watching. Purpose doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be public. It doesn't have to change the world. Sometimes purpose is simply choosing to live fully in the life you have, rather than mourning the life you lost. So if your purpose feels unclear right now, that's okay. It's forming. It's there in every honest conversation you have, every boundary you set, every moment you choose yourself. Your pain is not meaningless, and neither are you. I want to close with something practical, because inspiration is beautiful, but it's the daily practice that carry us through. Living with chronic pain or invisible illness requires a different kind of strength. It's not about one heroic moment. It's about 1,000 small choices. So here are a few practices that can help you cultivate unbreakable strength. Talk to yourself the way you talk to someone you love. When you have a bad day, don't berate yourself. Acknowledge it. This is hard, and I'm doing my best. Build a toolkit of tiny victories. On days when everything feels impossible, what's one small thing you can do? Drink water, step outside for 60 seconds, text a friend. These aren't insignificant. They're survival strategies. Connect with others who get it. Find your people, whether it's online communities, support groups, or one trusted friend. Connection is medicine. You were never meant to do this alone. And reframe your relationships with rest. Rest is not weakness. Rest is resistance in a world that demands constant productivity. Rest is how you survive long enough to rise again. And finally, remember that healing isn't linear. You will have good days and bad days, progress and setbacks. That doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human. And being human while carrying pain, that's the definition of strength. If you're still with me, I want you to do something right now, wherever you are. Take a deep breath. Feel your chest rise and fall. And say this with me out loud or in your heart. I am not broken. I'll say it again. I am not broken. I am rebuilding. Every scar you carry tells a story of survival. Every setback is proof that you're still in the fight. And every single day you rise again, even if rising just means opening your eyes, you prove that pain doesn't win. You are unbreakable. Not because you never break, because you keep putting the pieces back together. This is painfully real. And remember, even in your darkest moments, you are living evidence that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, and you're still here, and that's enough. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourself, because you definitely matter.